Welcome back to Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth, welcoming on the show. Actually, it's both of these ladies' first time. She is a part of it. Are you a part of the White Dress Project, or, they're just someone that is partnering with you?
Yes, I am the Texas ambassador for the White Dress Project.
She is the Texas ambassador for the White Dress Project. I haven't seen her in eons, but it's so good to see her lovely face. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brandi Neal.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. You look great.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad that you are here. And she is the midday host of the Keisha Nicole show right here on 97.9 The Box from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. with the best damn lunch mix, period. Ladies and gentlemen, Keisha Nicole is on Access
Good
Houston.
morning, KG.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I've been dying to get on this show.
Well, and I'm glad that you had extended the invitation because, Houston, you're going to be hearing a lot more Keisha Nicole on Access Houston. But first, we want to talk about women's health.
Yes.
There's a lot going on, and this is why I wanted Keisha to come on this segment with you, Brandi, because you both have experienced issues with uterine fibroids and so many other issues that women go through, PCOS and what is this?
Endometriosis.
Thank you. Yeah. So let's talk about it, because this has been an ongoing thing with women, especially women of color, for a long time. I remember when I was doing radio in Columbus, Georgia, and one of the salespeople had wanted me to interview this doctor who they had found some new procedure for women dealing with uterine fibroids and how it could be, surgically removed by a laser, and you don't have to get cut and all of that. And I just remember all of the women at the office just after the interview saying like, oh my God, you were so amazing for you to be a male and you asked all the right questions and this, that, and the third. And so for those who are just totally ignorant, what are uterine fibroids and how does it affect the woman's body?
Okay, so the definition of uterine fibroids is a muscular tumor that grows inside the uterus.
Mm-hmm. A muscular tumor that grows inside the uterus.
Yeah, on the wall of the uterus.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so weird that that's all it says, because it sounds like, let me just start by saying 1 in 5 women will have uterine fibroids by the age of 50. So that's the first thing I want to put out there. And it is 80% of African American women will have it by the age of 50. And so for some people, it doesn't cause any problems. Most of them, are non-cancerous. So, you can go your whole life having them and they don't cause any problems. But for the women that they do cause problems for, this it's over $100 billion in lost time for women with fibroids that are systematic and so symptomatic, and that it is, it can really, I'm trying to think of words to say that, can be on radio.
Mm-hmm.
It can really ruin your life almost. Just for example, when I found out that I had fibroids, I didn't even know. So many women, they have, I want to say excess bleeding and things. That's how they kind of know. But because I already had PCOS, so I was on continuous birth control, so I didn't have any of those symptoms. My symptoms were back pains, stomach pains. My symptoms were I would wake up in the morning, and by 2 p.m., I looked like I was 7 months pregnant. Those were my symptoms. So I ended up going to a GI doctor. And I was like, hey, something's going on. I'm bloated all the time, So he's setting me up for a colonoscopy, doing all that. And in the ultrasound, the tech found what she said was loose blood, what looked like loose blood. And she couldn't find one of my ovaries and stuff. So they're like, you need to go to your OB today. So I go there, go to the doctor, and she's like,
Damn, all those copays.
right. Don't even get me started on that.
That's the first thing.
Thank
You want me to go here?
God
I just
for
paid
good
you 40. Now I
insurance.
got to go pay another 50.
Let me tell you, every year I have already met my max by the summer.
Okay.
So I go there, and the doctor is like, oh, yeah, this is normal. And I'm like, wait, normal for who? And then she's like, yeah, women deal with this all the time. So then I'm like, am I a little punk? Because I have been in intense pain. And you're saying women deal with this all the time? She was like, yeah, we'll just go in. You'll have a myomectomy. We'll just go in. We'll clear this up.
For curiosity purpose, was it a white doctor or a black
Yes,
doctor?
my doctor's white.
Okay, all right.
And
that
so she's
explains
like,
it all. Go ahead.
she's like, well, we'll go in here, clean it up, whatever. This one is sitting under your cavity. And I'm like, cavity? Are we talking teeth, or are we talking like what was going on? And so she's like, yeah, we'll go in. I do these surgeries all the time. So I'm like, all the time. And she like gives me a pamphlet. And this is like, because you hear everything. Breast cancer, it's everywhere. All these other things you hear everywhere. Smoking causes cancer. So I'm like, well, what is going on? What caused this? And then she said, and you probably have endometriosis too. And I'm like, well, can I get a
was just that
pamphlet?
casual?
When I tell y'all, it was like, I'm just laying there. She's like, yeah, girl. And it's just like basically telling me. And she says, the thing about endometriosis is it can't be diagnosed until you have surgery. And that is why so many women go throughout life without having a positive diagnosis on endometriosis. There's $119 billion spent just trying to find out if women have endometriosis. So I go a few months. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like researching, you get on WebMD.
On the web,
I'm
and
like,
then you
oh
start
my God,
getting-
I'm
Start
dying.
getting into your own head.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm dying. So I just started posting about it because I'm like, if everybody got it, then somebody got to know about it.
Right.
Like, so, hey, y'all, I got this. And my mom was like, oh my God, Brandi. She was like, you might want to take that down. It's so personal. It was like almost like a shameful thing. And I think that, that's the thing why these topics are so taboo is because everything surrounding a woman's menstrual cycle from a young age is taught as a shameful thing. Like you're always like, ooh, be discreet, or don't say this, or make sure you have
when
this.
It's a part of everyday life of a human woman.
Every woman goes through it, and every woman, especially if she wants to have children, wants to go through it. So I'm just like, okay, mama, I gotta, I don't know. I need a therapist. I need something because it's like all these things are happening. One moment I just think I'm bloated and might have this. And then the next thing you know, I'm having to have a surgery that, will take me out of work for a week to 2 weeks. And so, just going through that and the psychological thing, because, infertility is attached to PCOS, fibroids, and endometriosis. So, you're thinking about that. I'm like, I'm not married yet. I still want kids. So you're like really moving through life. And supposedly all these women deal with it, but no one's talking about it. So I was like, okay, I'm about to start talking about it.
I know that's right. You're listening to Access Houston, talking to Brandi Neal and our very own Keisha Nicole about PCOS, endometriosis, and uterine fibroids. So Keisha is really kind of still healing and fresh back off of surgery because you were out the whole month of May, right?
Yeah.
Because you had surgery. Tell us your story on how is it kind of similar to Brandi?
Yeah,
because
you don't. Well, so I didn't feel I didn't have heavy periods or heavy menstrual cycles. Mine was more so the cramps in the back, your back pain. That back pain is crucial. And then you feel very fatigued and drained all the time. Like I would get off work at 3:00 and I would go home and lay in bed for the rest of the day because I couldn't function. Like I just couldn't function properly. So that's how mine. But for a while, and maybe up to a year, I was feeling like hardness in my stomach. Like the bottom of my stomach was very, very hard. And I'm like, man, what is this? But I never really paid attention to it, going about my day until I went to LA for my cousin's funeral. And I just, one night on my way back, I was flying back that night and I was at my mom's house and I was like throwing up. And I'm like, okay, nobody else throwing up. I ate the bad food. Y'all didn't eat the bad food from the funeral. And so I'm like, why do I have food poison? So I get on the plane and I'm very nauseous. I come back and for like a week straight, I could not digest food. Like my digestive system was like so messed up. And so I went to urgent care finally one day. And so he was like, he starts feeling my stomach. He was like, you don't feel these lumps in your stomach? And I'm like, well, I do, but I don't know if I thought they were normal. I don't know what I thought it was. And I would bloat heavy, like you said, to the point where I felt pregnant. Like I thought I was pregnant at one point. I'm like, well, maybe I'm pregnant. Like, I don't know. And so he was like, you need to go see your doctor ASAP, like tomorrow. So I see the doctor, regular practitioner. The next day, he examines me. He's like, you need to go take these ultrasounds the next day. He's like, you have to go immediately. So I took the ultrasound. I kind of knew something was wrong. And then like my doctor made an appointment with an OBGYN. I'm like, well, you're not telling me what's going on, So I had to go online and look and figure it out myself. You know how you can go online to the portal. And so then I would start talking to other women at work. And actually my GM referred me to her doctor. And she was like,
shout out Pam McKay.
Yes. So because she actually had went through it too before. And I didn't know what it was, but I assumed it was some type of uterine fibroids. So when I went to him, he's like, yeah, you have these 12.5 centimeters things sitting on your pelvic area. And I'm like...
12.5. You know what's disappointing me? Like how casual you ladies are saying how the doctor tells you about, what your diagnosis is.
Oh, it's like you're saying, where are you going for lunch?
Right. Like he's like, you have these 12 points. Okay, these are all your options or whatever. But my doctor, he was actually a really good doctor. And so it was like, you have to make a decision like that. And I'm like, wait a minute. So he was like, you need to schedule your myomectomy as soon as possible. So I scheduled myomectomy as soon as I walked to the office, not even kind of entertaining any other options. But then I started looking at other options as well. So I went to an IVF office and they sent me to get a CAT scan. What is the CAT scans called, guys? MRI. Yeah, so he sent me to get an MRI, and so the lady that's getting the MRI, she was like, you have a lot of problems in your... She's like, you be having a lot of problems. And I was like, yeah, you ain't telling me that. She's like, yeah, I see a lot of stuff going on there. But she never told me anything about my MRI. And so I called my doctor, I was like, hey, I'm trying IVF. And he was like, I started talking back and forth. And after I just weighed all my options, because I am young and I'm like, I may want to have kids one day. IVF can't... tell you if you can have kids or not afterwards. And that's why a lot of older women get the IVF treatment. Or am I saying this right?
Yes.
IVF. And so I prayed on it, and I felt like for me, the myomectomy was right. It's so crazy that as I'm going through this, my mom's like, oh, yeah, I had to get a procedure before. Well, I never knew.
My mom said the same
right.
thing.
And then my granny was like, oh, yeah, I had to get the same procedure before.
My aunt, too. I was like...
And then my sister, a year prior, she had a hysterectomy. So, like, literally all of us have gone through some type of uterine fibroid. My sister's had 7 pounds worth in her stomach. 7 pounds worth, okay? Guys,
that's
a whole baby,
human.
a whole human within her stomach. And that's a whole other story, too, because they don't tell you after hysterectomy, the depression that you face with that. And a lot of women that I know, even 3 years after hysterectomy, because they're taking out parts of your body that make you a woman. So they don't even explain that to you. So anyways, I had my surgery. My surgery was really successful. My scar is very small, thank God. But another thing is like now I have to have a C-section when I have kids. Like I don't have the option to have it a natural birth, So there's so many things that you face having uterine fibroids or endometriosis. Like I have a friend that has endometriosis and she's had like 5-6 surgeries. You know what I mean?
Because the thing with fibroids, even in my story, I had my myomectomy in April. By September, the end of September, they were already growing back.
I'm so scared.
So this isn't something like a one and done. Mm-hmm. And so that's why, it's so important for women to know their options. Mm-hmm. And it's important for women to talk about it because that's the only way we're going to get changes done for women, for this to not be something. We shouldn't be having to pay $1,500.
Oh, my gosh.
When you're going to have like...
It's a lot of money.
It's so much.
And then if you don't have insurance, just think about the women that don't have insurance. Thank God I had great insurance. Right. But I was thinking when I looked in the paper and I'm like, if I didn't have insurance, it's going to cost this much. I know someone who has them right now and has not gotten the surgery because they don't have the insurance. And so what's going to happen is your fibroids go bigger and bigger, which forces you to get a hysterectomy. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just crazy.
Yeah, and just even like when we bring in the maternal mortality rate, like a lot of that is caused by, from what she's saying, they know something's wrong, but they can't go to the doctor.
And as you two are talking, I don't know if I'm more incredulous about what is happening to you all's body or how casual and secretive that your your healthcare providers are being with you, are about your own body.
Yeah, you have to. That's why we always talk about, like, you have to advocate for yourself. Like, I got to the point this second time around, like, when they came back and when I went back to the doctor, I was like, hey, what's up? This is going on again. I just had surgery in April. And she was like, well, remember I told you it was a chance they could grow back. I said, well, I'm thinking it's like a 20% chance. Like, I'm not thinking like same year chance.
Wow.
So then she's like, well, this is what we can do to prevent you having to have another surgery this year. I was up to taking 19 pills a day because with each pill comes another thing. Like what you were saying with the hysterectomy, like they basically put me in a pseudo menopause. So with that comes with, I'm talking about, I have a patch, an estrogen patch. I'm taking all these pills a day. I'm sleeping, in the bed with my boyfriend with a onesie on because I don't want to, anything to come out or show. And this is Houston. It's hot.
Yeah.
So it's like the mental capacity. Like,
oh my gosh,
it's just so much that women like, and to think about it, if 1 in 5 women are dealing with this, how many women are really just walking around with you have no idea what's going on?
You have no idea what's going on.
You listen to Access Houston talking to Brandi Neal of the White Dress Project and Keisha Nicole from the Keisha Nicole Show here on 97.9 The Box. So with the White Dress Project, tell us what it is that you all are doing to bring more awareness. You're having a great event since this is Fibroid Awareness Month, an event that is happening this Saturday, the 27th.
Yes, and I want to give major props to Mayor Turner because it was just 3 years ago that we went and got July declared Fibroid Awareness Month in Houston. Mm-hmm. And the White Dress Project, we want to really promote awareness and raise funds for research and increase support by proving to women that they can wear white. And the stigma with white is that you can't. Like most women with these conditions, they don't wear white because they don't know if they're going to be
spot.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so so that is what we really want to like empower each other. Like it's become more of like a sisterhood because there is somebody that knows exactly what you're going through. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times, especially if you're not willing to talk about it, like with my mom, for example, like I didn't find out till after I was already in it that she had this and that my aunt had.
By the way.
Yeah, it was like, remember I had to have the hysterectomy? That's why. And I'm like,
like what?
So it's just, I think that is what we want to do. Like that is our mission. That's my personal mission to especially women like around our age that still want to have children, to let them know like there are options. Like Acessa, which is a new way to remove fibroids. They're going to also be at the event.
Oh, nice.
AbbVie is a pharmaceutical that's coming out with something for fibroids, so they're going to be at the event. So I want to give people as much information as possible because I believe information is power. Mm-hmm. And if you can go into your doctor and say, hey, I still want to have a child. This is what I don't want to be on. I don't want to have to take so many pills a day. I want to do the, minimal invasive surgery, but I don't, want to have 20 surgeries. Mm-hmm. Like if you go in with that plan, I think the doctors take more time and they respect you more when you do your research.
And then also I hear a lot of people talking about the natural way too. Like I know a couple people that told me that naturally they've gotten rid of them. I know it's a process. So, you may be doing the natural herbs, but it may take you 6 months to get rid of them. You know what I mean? Or shrink them. And a lot of times it's only shrinking them. Right. It's not like getting rid of them,
So do we know, ladies, what the cause of uterine fibroids in Black women are?
That is the question.
The $1 million question.
The $1 million question. That is what else I want to stress. For fibroids, for endometriosis and PCOS, there are no cure. You can only manage these. You cannot cure them. And even if you do have a hysterectomy, that might take care of fibroids, but it doesn't take care of PCOS and endometriosis. When I had my surgery, my endometriosis had spread to my appendix. Mm-hmm. Like, some people, it spreads way more than that. So it's, there's no cure. There's not even, from what I've been told, the reason they don't have a lot of research on African-American women is not a lot of African-American women sign up for the study.
Wow.
So even the medicine they are given are only given based on who was in the study.
So ladies out there that are listening, ladies of African descent, my black queens out there, if you're going through this and you get the opportunity to do a case study or a survey about it, do it so we can make it better for you. Just hearing you two talk and just the similarities, my heart just goes out. Sympathize and empathize, all of the above. Well, I can't empathize, but definitely sympathize with that. And just the point that we don't know where it was. Keisha and I, we've had this conversation many times, and I'm like, yeah, I heard it was, because of the creamy crack, that the perms are.
I'm like, child, I had a perm, and I don't know how. I don't know. She was a little girl.
Like, listen, I ain't had a perm.
Listen, I had fibroids since then.
Yeah, and so more research needs to go on this. What is the rate with this among white women?
I have no idea, but I wanted to say this really quick. People don't understand like how depressing all of that gets for some people, because you go through things like, I know for me, I had like bad hormonal cystic acne on my face, and that's originally why I cut meat out, because I didn't know before I had fibroids. When I tell you, I actually have a pimple on my chin right now. This is the first pimple I've had since I've had the surgery. So I know taking the fibroids out, that was the issue, the hormone imbalance and stuff like that. But like going through that, I remember sitting in the mirror one day and just crying because I had all these spots on my face from cystic acne. So like you go through so much that people don't even understand and realize when you have fibroids or endometriosis or anything like that.
Yeah, like even with PCOS, it's basically like you get the worst thing about it is you get like really like mustache, you get a full beard, like you get, because it's a hormonal imbalance, and so you are really just every day you wake up, you really don't know what your face is gonna look like, you don't know what your body's gonna look like. So to just mentally prepare for that, it's just you spend all this money on cream. Like,
yes,
it's just this. It is like she said, it's emotionally draining. Like that's when I knew. I was like, okay, I gotta find a therapist.
Yeah,
because I cannot make it through this just myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, listen, Brandi will have some of the answers. Because there's one that we don't know about, but she's going to have most of the answers this Saturday for the White Dress Project. That will be, where's that going to be, Brandi?
That's at Superb Studio.
Okay.
Yes, Saturday we have a great panel. We have even an infertility specialist, a minimal invasive gynecology specialist. We have the period guru who specializes in endometriosis. And we have State Representative Sean Theory, who's coming through to let us know what she personally is doing in Texas to get some things passed for women.
Well, save that date for Saturday, ladies, especially if you're going through that. Where can they get more information, or is it?
Oh yeah, you can you can RSVP. We have an Eventbrite link. It is Taboo Talk 2019. Definitely on social media, I'm always posting about it. And We Can Wear White is White Dress Project. So definitely come out.
Well, thank you for having Taboo Talk. I mean, this is one of the important issues that need to be discussed that doesn't, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that women get shamed for the natural things that just happen to your body, i.e. a period, i.e. being pregnant, i.e. just being a woman.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I've always been an advocate for women. I will stay an advocate for women because I believe that you all are the strongest species on the planet with everything that you go through, be physically, mentally, emotionally, no thanks to us. You all are the strongest. And thank you for doing what you're doing, Brandi, and bringing more awareness. Keisha, I know that you are on that too. And I thank you for coming on the program as well. So save the date for Saturday, July 27th, Taboo Talk, Brandi Neal along with the White Dress Project at
We Can Wear White.
No. Where is it at again?
Oh, sorry. At Superb Studios.
At Superb Studios. All right.
And what's your Instagram? Tell me your Instagram.
Oh, yeah. My Instagram is BM Neal, Neal.
And Keisha, what's your Instagram?
At Keisha Nicole.
Of course, you got plenty of followers. I'm the one that need the followers. No. Keisha Nicole, Brandi Neal, thank you all for coming on, having this incredible conversation. We need to do this more.
Yes, we do.
Indeed. So thank you all.
Thank
you.
And thank you for listening to Access Houston. To Access Houston. To Access Houston. To